Doreen Hyndman joins us now, program manager at the Sashbear Foundation. Thank you for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Tell me about your foundation and what you do.
So the Sashbear Foundation was started in 2011, more than 10 years ago now, by Lynn Corey and Mike Menu. And their daughter, Sasha, was an elite swimmer. She was on an athletic scholarship in the United States when she died by suicide. Sasha had been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder, and over the years, her parents had really struggled to find the help that she needed. It simply wasn't available in Canada at the time, and so, in fact, at the time that Sasha died, they were driving down to Boston every week. It was a 9-hour round trip for them just to access some family programming and family skills that they thought would help them as a family to support Sasha. And all of that came too late for them. So when Sasha passed away, they decided that they would turn their tragedy into something that could provide some support to other families, some hope for other families, so that other parents wouldn't have to go through that same kind of thing. So that's really where the organization started, and it was a real grassroots movement. It's really grown through families who've benefited from what Sashbear has done and have wanted to give back and pay it forward.
What kind of support do you offer?
So we do a lot of different programming. Really, everything that we're providing is focused on raising awareness and providing skills to people around this concept of emotion dysregulation. Emotion dysregulation is sort of the heart of what's at the root of borderline personality disorder. But lots of people suffer from emotion dysregulation at different points in their lives, and it can be really debilitating for some people at some points. And so really a lot of what we do is around helping people understand it better, and helping people understand skills that they can use when they're in a relationship with somebody who's struggling with emotion dysregulation.
How do you think that conversation should sound? How does it go?
Oh, so you know what? We talk about a skill that's called validation. And validation is when you want to talk to somebody and really connect with them in a way that values and honors what their experience is. And so often we want to just downplay their negative emotions. Maybe we feel like we want to try and make them feel better. So we try and convince people that things are great, everything's going to be fine. But that's not really valuing what their current moment of experience is. And so validation is this way of really connecting, and it allows you to really honor what is going on for that person in that moment, rather than telling them, oh, bury those emotions, push them away. No, you can say, I recognize that what you're going through is really tough. And so what that does is it helps us to build a connection with other people, and it builds trust in our relationships. We do a lot of work with parents whose youth are struggling, and that's so difficult, right? That a youth is struggling, and all they want to do is push their family members away. So the skills that we teach are designed to really help the family members keep that connection close, build trust in the relationship, so that those youth know that their family members are there for them when they're struggling.
Mental health disorders are vastly different, so I don't want to ask about one blanket set of symptoms, but if somebody, let's say, is going through OCD, they're struggling with OCD in particular, how might that show up?
So our work is focused around this concept of emotion dysregulation, and emotion dysregulation is when your emotions become so big, they're causing you a lot of pain and anguish, and you don't have the skills to manage those emotions in an effective way. So, in my personal situation, one of my children has OCD, and the challenge of dealing with the OCD would cause my child's emotions to rise to the point where they were feeling really dysregulated. And it was a case in those situations of being able to communicate with them and be able to say, what you're going through is really tough. I get that it's really tough. And, here, I'm not going to try and fix it for you. I can't fix your OCD. I can't make it go away. I can't prevent all of the things that are going to make it hard for you. But what I can do is be here, be a safe place for you to talk to me about it, support you while you're struggling, and really I can acknowledge and accept that what you're experiencing is something that really, really is affecting you, and that I can't begin to understand it truly because it's your experience and not mine. But I believe everything that you're telling me about how you're experiencing it.
When we talk about making waves for mental health and trying to prevent suicide, the elephant in the room for me, at least, is that unfortunately some people go when they're in the state of crisis, they show up at the emergency department, and then they're there for a few hours, they get sent home. They don't always get connected with the help they need. Your thoughts on that?
Oh, absolutely. We hear this over and over. We help 1,000 families a year through the programming that we run, and almost everybody has a story like that. It's really, really unfortunate that the services are not available to people when they need them, and so often the only place that's left is for people to turn to the emergency department. And I'll tell you, that was the case for my own family. I hear it in the work that I do. I hear it when I volunteer in the group programs that we run. There really need to be more services available. We're trying to fill some of the gaps by providing the programming for families and making education available for families who just don't know where to turn.
Right. And I've heard that from a lot of parents. Difficult. And people are texting in even today saying, I feel helpless because I know that my teenager needs help. I know that they're having these thoughts. I don't want them to be harmful to themselves, but I don't know what to do because we go to the hospital, we get turned around, we go in a week later, we get turned around, we get sent home, and then I'm watching them, but I'm not an expert. I'm not a psychologist. I didn't go to school for this, so I don't know what to do.
Right. And it's heartbreaking, isn't it? And I've been there. I've slept in the emergency room with my kid in order to make sure that they weren't just sent home and me be responsible for keeping them alive, right? And so I think one thing that families can do is to look at the resources that we offer. We have a number of recorded presentations that are on our website. We run something called the Expert Education Series, and we bring in experts from around the world who are talking about these issues and talking about what families can do. So, those programs, those presentations, they only touch the surface, and yet they're more than a lot of families will get anywhere else. So I would really encourage people listening to check out the website and look at some of the recordings that we have available. We also run a program that's called Family Connections. It's an internationally known program, and it's offered around the world in, I think, 28 countries. In Canada, we're the organization, Sashbear, that provides oversight for the program across the country. And like I said, we reach about 1,000 families a year through that program. It's a 12-week program that family members can sign up for free of charge. We have a start date. We're starting groups right now. Then our next start date will probably be in June, and we have occasional other ones along the way throughout the year. But that 12-week program can help family members to understand what's going on with someone who's really struggling with their emotions. And it's not just emotions, right? It's the ways that the emotions are demonstrated. Yeah. People might be using substances, or kids might be self-harming, or they're talking about suicide. That's because they're in such pain because of their emotions. And so this Family Connections program and our website presentations, they will help families to understand what's going on, help families learn how to communicate with someone who's expressing that kind of emotion, and help them figure out ways to build trust in a relationship, to help those family members take care of themselves so that they can keep on going, because it is really hard as a family member. Yeah. You struggle and you get really worn down, you get exhausted, you get frustrated, and you reach the point of burnout yourself. And so coming together in a group, knowing that you're not alone, learning these skills to help improve your family situation, and then you can kind of really be on the same page with your family member. And that goes a long way towards being able to make a difference in what someone's experiencing and what the possible outcomes might be.
Thank you for telling us about your organization and for sharing your own personal story, Doreen.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you again for having us. And if I can just plug the website one more time, it's sashbear.org.
That's Doreen Hyndman, Program Manager for the Sashbear Foundation, sashbear.org. On Bell Let's Talk Day, speaking about suicide prevention and mental health